What's up guys, it is that Panda Guy. I'm here again with another video, and today we're going to be looking at the Spear Exorcist, the monk. I'm not pronouncing this name at all because I always get them wrong. I scuff them. One thing I noticed, by the way, I'm going to do a little tangent. The freaking hero design, I don't know if you guys noticed this. I think they just love doing this. They have it with Victor, they have it with the monk. Freaking just their arms are gone, right? I like the design though. It even shows like purple to be like, I wouldn't even say it's infected, but kind of like, you know, it's bruised or something, right? Like you can even see like the tint of purple where like the I don't even know what these things would be called, but like where they're going into is like arm to kind of connect them, you know, metal arm and whatnot. Overall, I like this design. The hero's looking pretty solid. I wouldn't like stand on that too much because what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to run through his skills and stuff, give you guys my opinion, but I don't want you guys to take this as fact because obviously there's a limited amount of knowledge on a hero like this. We don't have enough nuance or anything to kind of give a proper opinion since this is a hero that we've not really seen in this kind of regard, right? Like he's a one of a kind, so we do have to test him out before we give like a proper video on this, which I might redo a video. Just remind me maybe if you can in the comments and stuff when like this hero's out and stuff and be like, yo, test it, Panda. But yeah, either way, let's hop into this. I am going to be kind of explaining some of my thoughts about who you can combo him with, because I think how you combo him is actually going to make him far more effective, and I'm gonna actually do that really quickly or really soon, but I'm gonna go through his skills really quickly. And yeah, let's do this. So for his first skill, it's a rage skill. Obviously, he gains a shield for up to 3 seconds. His shield factor going up to 10.8 thousand. In the case that you awaken him, it's going to go up to 12.5 thousand. So you know that's nice. The shield factor goes up to 12.5 thousand though. When the monk shield vanishes, it deals the remaining 50% of the shield value as damage up to 2 enemies, nearby enemies. So basically, how this works is, if my shield has, let's say 12.5 thousand, and let's say they cut like half of it, so I get about 6,000 shield factor left. Basically, what's going to happen is that 6,000 shield factor is going to be cut in half by the 50%, so it's going to be 3,000 shield factor, and that, you know, shield factor is going to damage to these 2 enemy squads, so it's going to be 3,000 and 3,000, and in the case I have them awaken, that's going to be 3 enemy squads, so it's going to be, you know, 3,000 dishing out between these 3 enemy squads. I do see this being more effective, especially if you're running him with like a 5v5, or you're running him like on the field in like big brawls, because you do want to make sure you're utilizing this AoE type of effect as much as possible, because unlike heroes like Lewis, the missing out on multiple heroes, like being able to dish out your shield factor to as many squads as possible, is a massive miss. You know, like in the case of this hero, it's going to be a massive miss and it's going to suck. But yeah, I don't know what to say about this skill yet because I don't know enough. It does look like it's kind of interesting, and obviously you can suspect that the developers have worked on a hero like this to, you know, kind of, they probably tweaked it, they've done their tests and stuff, so you can imagine he's at least going to hold his own on the field. One thing I actually want to say real quick though is you really want to make sure you're paying attention who you're pairing him with. For instance, right, I know in my previous kind of video I had been talking, when I talked about Marco, I mentioned how one of the things that I don't like about him, and I even said this about Stella, is the fact that you have to rely, or not that I don't like about it, but the thing that sucks about them is that they're reliant a lot on counterattacks, right? So if they get swarmed or something, they're, you know, they're going to be dishing out some of these skills and stuff, which is the one thing that's kind of a sucky factor, because if I, for instance, am like, hey, I do not want to focus this Marco and Aerie because I'm, you know, I know better, because if I focus them, I'm going to be getting debuffed a ton, right? Because the counterattack have a 30% chance to reduce HP of up to 5 nearby enemy squads, blah, 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 right? And stuff like that. And the same goes with someone like Stella, who's able to stack War of Wills from taking counterattack, you know, from dishing out counterattacks and stuff, whatever the case. One thing I actually wanted to say was you could potentially pair them up with the monk. And the reason I say this is, you know, I dodge freaking Marco and Aerie like the flu, and you want this hero to have as much livability as possible, because given the fact that his skill is reliant on the fact that he has as much shield factor left as possible, so if he gets swarmed, you know, it's a lose because you're missing out on that shield factor, and that's doing less damage to those 3 enemy squads, right? Making him less effective. Whereas if you pair him with someone like Marco and Aerie, if he does get swarmed, yeah, you're missing out on that shield factor, like the shield factor damage, but you're getting a hero like Marco and Aerie to start pumping out their skills. It's making them more effective as a result, you know? So you do want to make sure you're paying attention who you're pairing this guy with, because I think if you're pairing him with Marco and Aerie or pairing him with Stella, he's going to be that much more effective because he's able to take, you know, you're able to kind of utilize the fact that, hey, these guys need counter damage to be more useful. So either they focus this and make my monk less useful, or they don't focus this, you know, my Stella's less useful, right? And it's kind of like a give and take type of thing. I mean, maybe you want to run it differently, but I do think that this might be a good way to kind of run it, because I mean, in general, I'm not going to focus a hero like Stella, right? So I would want to put her with, you know, someone like the monk, because people are less likely to focus them. And if people are already not going to focus my Stella, why not throw them together and make him more effective? You know what I mean? That's kind of my thought process on that. Let's get into a second skill though. Second skill, when not garrisoned, it increases the infantry squad defense by up to 32% and increases your HP by up to 11%. This is a pretty good stat stack right here, stat stack, right? I like that. I think that's a pretty good amount of buffs, so I'm not going to complain about it. Third skill, counterattacks remove 9 rage from the enemy and have a 20% chance to deal additional damage to the enemy, the damage factor being around 2,000. I don't really care for this skill that much. It's you know, still something. I'm just not a big fan of it. I don't care for it, so I'm not gonna say like I would probably leave this skill last personally. And for his fourth skill, it increases the squad attack by up to 34%. While shield is active, it reduces the damage taken by 6.5%. So you know, the fact that he's, you know, obviously gonna be regularly activating the shield means that you're probably always regularly going to have this like 6.5% reduction in damage for the most part, you know, so that's pretty nice. Can't really complain. And the infantry squad attack here for 34%, pretty nice, honestly. I like this overall. I'm still skeptical because obviously there is not enough information on a hero like this, but I do want you guys to take what I said to heart. He is a roulette hero, so he is much more obtainable for like the massive majority of people, which is nice. But I do want you guys to kind of sit on that and maybe drop a comment and give you guys give your thoughts if you think that's a, you know, good idea, or if you guys think differently about how to run him, because I do think pairing him with someone like Stella or pairing him with someone like Marco might be effective. Even pairing him with someone like Eddie, because Eddie has a lot of counter damage and stuff. So it's like, you know, to each their own. But I do think like if someone like Marco, for example, he's already probably not going to get focused on the field. I already avoid him like the plague. Why not throw him with a hero who's more effective at not being hit, right? Because he's going to have more shield factor and he's going to be able to take advantage of that and be able to dish out more damage. Because if I don't get hit at all, right, and my shield factor is, you know, let's say it's nearly max, so it's 12,000, right? That gets cut in half by the shield, 6,000. That's 6,000 to 3 enemy squads potentially, meaning that I'm dishing out like 18,000 worth of damage between these 3 enemy squads. That is pretty effective to me, and I like that. I like this overall, guys. You guys let me know what you guys think, though. I'm not going to drag this video on. I hope you guys kind of liked my explanation, my kind of recommendation for you guys. That being said, I do appreciate you guys for stopping by as always. I hope you guys have a great day or night, though, and I will be seeing you guys in the next one, and that is about it. Peace out.